Alright everyone, Cody here, and welcome back to Chicken Hole Base. So as you can see, my truck still has mud on it from last time. It snowed a little bit more, but not enough to really worry about. I got some buckets of concrete mix here. I figure putting them in plastic buckets is better than the paper bags, because these repel water a lot better. I was going to cement in some posts. You might be able to see my little sign here. I'm going to put up a sign, and also the supports for the greenhouse tank. But I do have a problem, and that is everything is frozen. I need water for the cement, and also the ground. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to work around that. Speaking of frozen, let's check on this. Let's see if it took off at all. Yeah, no. I mean, it is holding above ambient temperature. Barely. Actually, that is freezing. So yeah, it's just too cold. I think the composting is going to have to wait till I can have a warmer area to do it in. Alright, well, yeah, the sun's setting over there. It's only 4:13. Okay. Survived my second night. Whew. I didn't freeze, although my pillow did. I was trying to keep this close to me so it didn't freeze, so I'd still have water. Oh, looks like the sun's coming up. Good. Maybe it'll warm up a bit. Oh, it is obnoxiously bright this morning, and the air is so clear. Oh my gosh. I like being out here, even though it is cold. Can we get it here? Yep. So I'm gonna get a pick and a shovel. We're gonna see if we can dig a hole for the post. You might ask why I don't have Robo Cody doing this. And well, turns out it's actually too cold for him to operate. You know, no insulation and all that. Okay, there's my hole. It wasn't too difficult. I just need to go make the sign post. And I am going to have to mix up a bit of concrete. I do have a little bit of water, so I'll be able to do this one post. Now obviously conventional concrete like this is probably not going to be used on Mars. First of all, it wouldn't even set up, probably. But there are alternatives. They're all just way too expensive for me to try. The whole point of this project is to have something that basically simulates it. Whether I'm using real concrete or some kind of polymer or whatever, doesn't really matter. It provides the same function. Now normally this weather is too cold for concrete, but since I'm burying it, it should stay warm. There it is, the finished sign. So as someone drives up, this will be the first thing they see. So I decided to clear off a few more trees. You can see this one here where the buckets looks much better. There's all the branches in the back of my truck. This tree is also cleaned up. Very cool. Much less likely to burn, and it looks better. You get a load of this ring pattern here. That is the center of the branch, but apparently it got damaged or something and only grew in one direction. It's kind of weird. Also, there's an excess of 100 rings right here. This tree is very old. Anyway, I was going to start digging the holes for the posts that support the little tank there. But I keep going back and forth on the actual orientation. So I think I'm going to give it another little while. I'm going to go make like a clay model or something, so I can decide where everything goes. And maybe I'll be back next week. So, I mean, this video won't be posted for a little bit longer than I would have liked, but here we go. Just dropping the branches off here for now so they can dry. Eventually I'm going to turn it into charcoal. Well, I'm back. Got some more building materials and some water. That wasn't too hard, especially after I took the park brake off. Now it's off the dirt. Should be a lot easier to pull. Although, now it's out of the way, I don't really need to move it any further. Okay, tanks are moved. Here's what's going to go down. It's about to get dark. As you can see, the sun just set. We've got a clear sky. There's no light pollution, which is great, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the stars to line everything up north, south, east, west, all nice and square. Now, normally I'd use a compass, but you know, I'm challenging myself to do like what I would do on Mars, so Mars doesn't have a very strong magnetic field. I'm gonna have to use the stars. I probably should have gotten a sextant or something, but yeah, I'm just gonna eyeball it. Okay, so here we are. I've got a hole dug. Here's the post I'm gonna put in it. You can see I made the post a little bit longer by screwing a 2x4 onto the end. I'm not going to cement it down. This is just temporary. Just something we can line up with the North Star. I'll just pour in some water, let it freeze into place. So I ended up using the camera instead of my eye. I got it pointed exactly north. Not actually at the North Star, but slightly towards the ladle. That's actually where north is. And now what I'm going to do is drive a stake in right where the middle of the tripod is. I think that ought to be pretty close. Okay, there we go. Should be lined up. Let me put the camera back on the tripod and see if I can use the stars to double check. Okay. It's morning, and it decided to just suddenly start snowing as soon as I got to work again. The forecast was for a sunny day. I think I had my sunny day last night. At least I got the one pull in. Okay, it seems to be getting better. It was just a sudden flurry. But look at this string. This stuff really glows. Okay, second post's in. Sunshine's coming. Happy day. Let's stand back and kind of eyeball and make sure they're lined up. I'll call that good enough. I guess now I'll figure out where the other posts need to go. Putting a couple of screws into the bottom of each board, just so it helps lock it into the concrete. Okay, that's heavy stuff. I need to get Cody working in the cold. I thought that was a deer. Okay, all 6 posts are in. I even put this little tank here just to see how it's going to look in its permanent location. I've started screwing some boards to it, just temporarily to help hold them in place. So if a cat or something comes and pushes it, it's not going to tip the pole over. Or rather, they'd have to push on it hard enough to push them all over, which is unlikely. Maybe that's not necessary, but yeah, the plan is to cut these off at the height needed to get this tank to bolt onto the other one. I might dig this down a little bit just to make sure it's in more firmly and level. I think what I'm going to do is cut them at a kind of an angle and then set 2x4s on top to have a couple of rails that the tank can sit into. That's the idea, at least. And this space here, I don't know, maybe I can store equipment in it. I think I will put plywood on the sides just to box it in. Maybe even insulate it. I thought about putting the chickens in there, but this seems kind of small. Maybe if I put a run off to the side that they can get into while I'm not here. Anyway, I need to let the concrete set up. I think I'm going to give it 2 weeks just because it's so cold. I really ought to give it over a month, but 2 weeks seems about reasonable for my video upload schedule. So I guess I'll end it here, and I'll see you guys when we're putting the tank up onto it.